Hi there, today I'll be sharing with you how I combine two passions, my love of reading and scrapbook journaling, which I call creative book journaling. Now, scrapbook journaling or creative book journaling is a way to catalog your ideas, your thoughts, or any wisdoms that you have gleaned from the literature that you've read. In essence, it's a way of building your own library in your own creative way and leaving a legacy for generations to come. If you're new to my channel, my name is Christine, and I love to make cards, creative journal, and scrapbook. If you like content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, click the notifications bell so you won't miss any of my projects. So here it is, let me show you what I've done. I started my creative book journaling about 10 years ago when I gave birth to my first child. It was only then that I realized I had no clue on how to raise a child or truly understand the importance of being a parent. I committed to having a family, which meant I needed to sit down with my husband and discuss what it meant to have and raise a family. In essence, we wanted to be intentional. I wanted to build a family that was based on godly principles that could be passed down from generation to generation. And that's how this creative book journaling process came about. And if you all know, I love scrapbooking, I love cataloging, I love journaling, but there needed to be more. How do you combine parenting and scrapbook journaling and really bringing purpose to your creativity? So this is how I found my purpose, and bringing purpose to my creativity is through this scrapbook journaling. So the book that I read was called Bringing Up Girls by Dr. James Dobson. It's a book on practical advice and encouragement for shaping the next generation of women. And he knows a lot more than I do. So I thought, you know what? I need this. I need to know how to raise my daughter. My husband needs tips and tools on how to raise our daughter. So here is the creative journal. And as you can see here, I embellished each of the pages with stamps, stencils. I made sure that this project was simple in nature, in a sense that I used only one set of stamps, 1 to 2 sets of stamps, 2 or 3 stencils, some dies, and then pretty much repeated the whole creative process throughout the book. Because in the end, it was more about the book than it is the design. The design is more for me to flex that creative muscle on a daily basis, all while reading and learning about parenting. So here it is. This is the flip through. Now here you'll see chapter 1. Again, I just used 1 page to summarize all the tips and tools that I needed within this chapter. And for all the chapters, what I did was I used this stamp set to organize each chapter. So you can see here, this is chapter 2. Thoughts and ideas, all in chapter 3. This took a few pages to summarize. So again, chapter 3. And then anywhere that I needed to fill the space, anytime I felt I needed to be creative, I would stamp, stencil, you name it. Now you'll notice these. These are actually the chapter dividers. If you love the Rolodex idea of scrapbooking, this is what I used, is Rolodex dies to produce these chapter dividers. And this one is chapter 4, as you can see here, and that's all I did. Now the paper that I used was 10 12 by 12 sheets of paper and matching ephemera, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use that. I like it. It matches this journal. And then I used 1 pen and then a couple of colored pens to add to the journal. Eventually, what I usually do with a lot of these parental books is I like to pass them on to people. I want to share what I've learned with others, and so I'll usually pass the book on. The reason why I have this book is because I think I bought 3 or 4 copies and ended up giving those ones away. Aside from the stencils and the stamps, I also used these little mini texts on each chapter. And these are all from Tim Holtz's collection, the Tiny Text Stamp Collection. Now you'll notice I actually have these paper clips and these little charms. I bought them at a craft store. They're supposed to be for bracelets or necklaces for your child, but I think we had them on a bracelet and she no longer wears it, and so I just repurposed it and used it as my cool trinkets on my album. Now, another thing I want to share with you, aside from this album, is this. I purchased this at the Container Store and I loved it. It's an acrylic box, and what it contains are note cards that I've placed in here. They're actually prayers that Dr. Dobson had written, and what I did was I transcribed each of those prayers it's prayers for girls, on these little note cards. And I did this for a reason, not just for myself, but for my husband. Let's face it, a lot of men, not all, have a difficulty connecting with their daughter. And I found this book to be an invaluable tool for my husband to grow deeper in relationship with his daughter. It was actually a roadmap that he could use on a daily basis when he would have one-on-one time with her, usually before bedtime. It was during this time he would use these prayer cards, which I copied from the book, to pray over her and bless her. I also included some tips for him as well. So while he rubbed her back to help her fall asleep, he could read some of these helpful tips on how to be a dad. This one is great. I don't know if he's read these ones yet, but it says here, "Dear God, I pray that as Alexis's dad, you would equip and empower me to be the best I can be in this area of parenting. Encourage me too." And there is a plethora of tips on how to be the best daddy he can be. There are many ways that you can connect with your children. There are many ways to help your husband connect with your children. I pray that this flip through sparks your creative journey, as well as your parental and relational journey with your children and all those you come in contact with. I really hope you enjoy this. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Take care. Bye.